Hello my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works workshop. I've received a product to review that I wished I had received 10 years ago. I could have used this a lot working on instruments, but you know, better late than never. And of course it's an industrial borescope. Now, don't misunderstand. I've got at least 3, I think actually 4 other borescopes. I have 4 other borescopes. The problem with the first one that I had was that it was an eyepiece borescope, and it's just, you know, it didn't give you a very good picture, and you couldn't do any video or camera work with it, so that didn't help me much on the channel. The next 2 I got were the kind that talk to your smartphone or tablet, and those are fine, they work good, but they're a hassle. I mean, like any tool that's a hassle, you just won't use it. For instance, you got to hook it up to the Wi-Fi, then you got to make it talk to your tablet or your phone and hope that it works, and half the time it doesn't. So, you know, you got to fiddle with it, and anytime you got something like that, you're just going to tend not to use it. I mean, just take a hammer, for instance, as an example. You pick up a hammer and it does what it's supposed to do. Well, that's the way tools should all be. Well, I believe that's the way this tool's going to be. I haven't even opened the box yet, so I have no idea. This tool doesn't need internet or anything. It does have the ability to record video onto like a camera chip or whatever, and we'll see how all this works. And assuming that it does work, well, you'll get to see it right here on the screen. So let's get into it. Like I said, I haven't even opened the box yet, so let's open it up and see what we got. Wow, nice case. Well, so far everything's first class. I don't know a thing about it yet. I haven't read the directions or anything, but based on what I've heard, it must be pretty cool. Here's your little screen, and apparently it must hook to this handle. In fact, I'm fairly sure it does. I can already see how it connects up. Once you get it in there, then you just spin this around and it's locked in place. Again, I like to try to use these things without looking at the directions at all on these product reviews, because a tool should be relatively intuitive or it's too complicated most of the time to use. So I'm just going on that theory. So let's see here. Nothing else in this part of the case. So let's open up this part and see if what we've got in here. Looks like we have a little brush, which I would assume to be to clean off the screen, I imagine. I don't really know that, or maybe even to clean off the end of this. It's probably what it's for. And we have a USB cable. It looks like an A to a C. Some little cleaning tips, a little cleaning cloth, cleaning wipes, quite a few of those. And then lastly, it looks like we have some adapters for the end of the cable. It looks like it would have a hook to hang on something. It looks like there's a little reflective mirror for seeing around a 45 or something like that. I'm not quite sure what that one would be for. We're not going to be interested in those, at least right now, and probably not at all for this review. Looks like the chip would plug in here, and it looks like it may already have a chip in there. So I'm going to see if that's the case. That would be nice if it came with a chip. Let's see if it powers on. Okay, it powers on. You can see the lights coming on here. And so right away, again, it is intuitive. See the peg head there, the rose in the peg head? Yeah, I think you can. Well, anyway, that's just, you know, quick and dirty. Turn it on and see what it does. That's all that was. Now, see what we can do with this thing. My main interest in this is recording video. Well, I was right. There was a card already in there. It's a 32 gigabyte card, but quite honestly, it didn't want to come out of there. And I would push and push, and it would just stay in the same place and just bounce, and it was caught underneath the lip of this thing. Finally, I just used a little tool and moved it over a little bit, and then I could see it pop up just a hair. Still wouldn't come out, but I worked with it until finally I got it up high enough I could pull it out. I'm going to put a different card in there and see what happens. That locked in, and let's see if it'll pop out. Yeah, that one pops out no problem. I think the problem is this card they had in there has a thicker back end on it. I thought it looked thick, and I think that thicker back end catches. There's a little pamphlet here, and it shows pictures, but it really doesn't tell you very much, I'll be honest. I don't see anything here how to record a video. We'll just have to figure it out. Okay, it does say that this part of the camera is waterproof, but this is not up here. This wheel is for articulating. Let's see here what it does. There you go. See, you can see it moves it around. That's pretty cool. So once you get it into a spot, you can kind of hold it still and move this around and look around. And let me show you what that looks like on the screen. You can see it panning around. Off camera, I played with this a little bit to get familiar with it. Right now, I just have it pointed back there in the shop. Obviously, we have a power on, power off button. If you hold it, it'll go off. And if you hold it, it'll go on. Then we have a menu button. If you hold this, it will go on. Then you have up and down arrows to choose what you want. Now, if you want to change the item, you press the menu button again. Auto power off, I have that set to 10 minutes. The language, I have it set to English. The date, I put the date in there, so like it's easy to change. It says October 29th, 8:06. Scroll through there, go to the next option, and go down to format, so you could format your card. It has default settings, and then it's got a version number. So it's really a fairly straightforward menu, and it's fairly easy to use. I didn't really use any directions to understand it. I just started figuring it out, and it works pretty well. Get back to the screen. I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to do there, but I'm going to push the power button once. Nope, that didn't work. Looks like if you push this button, you go back. This button here is a return. It also is an angle. Like for instance, you notice where how the screen is a little bit on an angle right now, and if I press this, it's going to make it worse actually, but watch. It flips it up on its side, and so you can pick your best view, and then you can adjust it with this after that. This gives you gets you close by picking a couple of options. This is for viewing pictures and video that's on the camera. We do already have a little bit on there because I was playing with it. This is for taking the snapshot, or if you hold it, it becomes a video. You can adjust the light with this light button right here. You can watch me change it. See, it goes off and keep pressing, goes right back on. So it starts on the bright. And then you have a zoom button here, so you can zoom in, and you can zoom in, and then it zooms back out. That's really about it. It's a fairly straightforward. You would charge it through this port right here. So let's put this thing to use. Let's go inside a guitar and see what we've got. Well, my friends, I've got my old guitar here that I built. This is the one that I built out of scrap parts, and this top is all busted up. So I'm going to just go in there and see if we can see any additional problems that you can't see from the outside. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll make a video going inside this thing and viewing it and doing the best job I can with it. And so if that was successful, you'll see that video right now. Well, my friends, if all that turned out, you just saw pictures of the inside of the guitar, and definitely we could see a problem in there where the X brace had separated, wasn't holding anymore. That might be fixable. There's so many problems with this top, I'm not really sure it's worth messing with. Anyway, that wasn't the point. The point was to look at this tool and see how usable the tool is. And you can see there that you can bend it in just about any shape you want and go right up there and inspect the top, which is way better than the other ones that I've used in the past. Then you can articulate it by moving this right here, see? And that's really handy. You'd be surprised how much better this is for using inside the guitar than the previous ones I've used. This is pretty cool. And the fact that it captures video and still photos . And by the way, you can also pause it. Like for instance, let's take a picture of me, and you can see it there. And if you press the, if you press this pause button right here, then and see I can move this around, and you can see that it paused it on the screen there. That's pretty cool. It didn't take a picture, it just paused it. Then you press it again and it's back to moving around, as you can see. So that's pretty darn cool. This thing is well thought out. It'll be on my website as a product I use, and I'll have a link in the description of this video, so be sure to check it out. If you need a good Borescope, I really can't recommend this one any higher. So I want to say thank you to this DXZtoz for sending me this Borescope. It is a wonderful product. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next video.